This is part 2 of my audio cassette collection. And we're going to do all the tapes that I have outside the main 3 racks. So this will be stuff in here and in some that I have scattered around the house. Actually, why don't we get those out of the way first? So this first one is Alabanzas al Señor Jesus Canta Castillo Volume 1 stereo. I had a bit of trouble reading that, it's in Spanish. This is a cassette from, well, it doesn't say the year on there. I think it's one of the more recent to have paper labels. And this one does not have a label on it, surprisingly. They only put a label on for side B on this one. Either that or the label for side A must have fallen off a long time ago. And then on we go to John McCutcheon with Winter Solstice on Rounder. This is a tape from 1988. Hello, Patrick Shields. The other one I have, it's on a label distributed by Rounder. It has a similar case. It's Bobby Radcliffe, Dresses Too Short on Blacktop. This is from 1989. What was this? What was that comment reading? It says a cassette named after a pagan tradition, winter solstice. Apparently, yes. So next one, it's on Windham Hills, which is known for pioneering New Age music. And this is George Winston, Winter in the Spring. And this is from the period when the company was distributed by A&M. This is from 1982. I'm trying to get into focus. This next one is Christmas Spectacular from the Aeolian Pipe organ, I think. That's how you read that. It's on Mistletoe. And it's from... No, it's on Snowflake, and it's from 1985. Then there's We Wish You a Merry Christmas MC Special Products tape from 1987, I think it is. Hold on. I have it the wrong way around. There you go. This tape doesn't even work. There's nothing further through there for some reason. So I can't play it. Next, I have a well, you're gonna run into a number of Spanish language recordings in this video, beginning with oh yeah, I remember those audiobooks too. This one is this tape is Los Dinos Oro from Amor, or is that the other way around? It's Buena Vista tape from 1995. And it's an American release, but still uses the No Dia No Pirateria stamp that is more frequently encountered with Mexican tapes. Got another Buena Vista. This one is from 1998, so it came out in the year I was born. And it's Recuerdos Mariachi from some guy named Jose Guadalupe Esparza. This one actually has mariachi on it. Actually, I have no idea what genres any of these Spanish language artists fall in. Anywhere only Spanish language artists fall in. Some fall into mariachi and others don't. Here's an item from Primetime Radio Classics. This is yeah, there you go. This is Escape, Lanigan versus the Ants, and also, and the B-side is the Time, and there's also Escape the Time Machine on it. I have no idea what these refer to, and one of the labels has fallen off, evidently. Next I have, this is apparently a tie-in with Wiener Schnitzel. The Nightmare Before Christmas, and the Christmas Tree of Good St. Florian on Wiener Dog's Tale from so this apparently got in the through the Wiener Schnitzel. Yeah, I probably wouldn't want it. Medieval Europe sounds pretty bloody. And I think this was made by a Capital because that's the XDR logo right there. But for Wiener Schnitzel, it's a Wiener Dog Tail. Distributed by some company called, produced by Robert Jason Productions. Don't know who he is. Comes on a red tape. I've only eaten there once. I like the food on there. I wouldn't mind eating again. American Revolution, Civil War, and Biblical Times. Interesting era, choice of eras there, Patrick. I have some Hallmark tapes now. I think all of them tie into the Christmas thing. Carols of Christmas from Hallmark. Yeah, Hallmark. And they're from this one is from 1988 and features Mormon Tabernacle Choir, Sarah Vaughan, and Samuel Ramsey. Actually, just Samuel Ramey there. I think this was released close to her death. And it's one of her last recordings before her death, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, another Spanish team there. Jose Guadalupe Esparza. So this is self-titled, and this is from... This also is from 1998, I think. Or 1988, rather. Label's pretty faded on each side. Or... No, this is... Oh, I think I got a mix-up. It's some other artist. But I don't know who he is. In of some random artist inside the case for one of Jose's albums. I think I figured that out. I just figured that out now. How'd I do that? Here's the Eddie Hawkins Singers Christmas with We Three Kings. What Child Is This? I Believe, Pray for Peace. Blowing in White Christmas, Whole Holy Night, Blowing in the Wind, which isn't a Christmas song, and Silent Night. This is manufactured by Special Music Company, a division of SX Entertainment, in 1994. And they appear to be based out of Inglewood Cliffs, New Jersey. It's a reissue of an album on Buddha Records. Here's the Great Hymns Treasury 50 Greatest Hymn Classics. So this is a religious tape on the Designer music group from 1992. Yeah, I collect some Christmas stuff from time to time. This is a Rudolph Records tape of White Christmas. That was apparently made in Italy, I think. Here's Los Gamma. I have no idea who they are. This was released by Luna Music Corp in 1990. Oh, it's Pine Sato. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce Spanish that well. I can't really pronounce Spanish all that well. Here's Christmas Is. Oh, it says Christian. I don't traditionally play Christmas teas, but I got a bunch of them anyway, for some reason. It's on Snowflake. Anyway, this Christmas Is tape is on Snowflake Records. And some, I think 1990. Yeah, 1985. It's made in Italy, it says inside. Otherwise, I have trouble reading. Alright, another Smash team, so I'm gonna try a bit of time trying to read this. Orquesta Ranchera de los Hermanos Encondo, I think it is. From some company called Ted Care Musical. Not to be confused with High School Musical, I presume. And I have no idea what year this was released in. Good evening, Carlos Aguilar. Okay, so here's the really random sort of tapes that I got for you. I think I'm pretty sure I have the inlay card, this first tape, which is Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill. This was a massive, massive album back in 1995 by Maverick. It was a big album. 1995 on Maverick. I have it on CD as well. Now I'm looking for the inlay. Somewhere. You'll find out where it is. I'll find out where the inlay card. I want to put the inlay card a bit later. And there's also Paul Simon's legendary album Graceland from 1986 on Warner Brothers Records. And the American copy of the Black Crowes' Shake Your Money Maker. And some random blank cassette. Then there's also Merry Christmas with by Mahal Jackson, Patti LaBelle, Jerry Butler, Platters, and the Drifters. This is a Golden Circle release from 1988. Yeah, I've seen it. It's pretty good. It's gone a very long while without a video release. It's a very hard to find movie. Because I have seen, but yeah, I have seen one true movie. Pretty good, quite a good movie, and pretty hard to find one at that. It's the VHS is particularly hard to find, and the DVD is only available through the Warner Archive collection. And there's Ave Maria from Pamela Wilson Soprano with Symphony Royale, a blended orchestra conducted by Jack Dorsey, who I presume is not the Twitter founder. Or at least who I assume is not the guy who used to run Twitter. This is a snowflake tape from 1985 in Maine and Italy. Here's Big Antonio, I think it says, on Phonavisa from 1992. By the way, if you see some cigar boxes here, that's those are where I store some DVD-Rs. I tend to store DVD-Rs in cigar boxes. My mom was the one who came up with that idea. Here's the next tape. Coming Home from Christmas. Another one on CBS Special Products. And this one was recorded by the Fireside Singers, and it's from 1987. Next one is a BMG Direct tape under license order. It's a Jeff Foxworthy Games Rednecks play. Here's White Christmas, another copy of the tape I showed earlier called White Christmas from Bing Crosby on Rudolph Records. Now here's an album I have on a blues label called Tomato. Song sung by his friends, a tribute to Leadbelly. This is from I'm not really sure what year this is from. It doesn't say anything about the year on the packaging. Here's another Rudolph Records tape. This is Billy Vaughan's Christmas songs from oh, it's got Jingles Bells for a track. It's supposed to just Jingle Bells. It's got Jingles Bells. This is from, I'm pretty certain, sometime in the 80s. And it's a compilation of, I think, I'm not sure what kind of quality these Rudolph Records tapes tend to have. Like whether these were needle drops or stuff taken from the master tape, or whether they had other ties to MCA because they had the same artists. Here's a Mills Brothers Merry Christmas on MCA's Special Products. And another one that doesn't work, unfortunately. This next one is, I believe, a Mormon tape on the Embryo label. It's My Turn on Earth. And what is this? I can't really read all that text on the album cover. This appears to be some sort of musical, religious musical. Contemporary musical with lyrics by Carolyn Pearson and music by Lex Azevedo. This one is from 1977. Oh, it's got a different tape in there. Michael McLean soundtracks. I think I had the inlay cord for that one too, and I don't know where I put it. That one was on. That McLean album was released in 1994 on Deseret Music. Which I believe had Mormon church connections, as with the Deseret News, AKSL TV. Here's Samba. Ballroom dancing Samba. With the Canadian 10 dance champions on Madisy, evidently, so the IDMI, so it's Madisy. And so it's probably cheaply assembled, and probably has a lot of manufacturing errors on the audio track. As a Massey did. Massey were known for. Here's another Hallmark team, Joy to the World. Had that kicking about. This is from 1988. Yeah, it definitely was an interesting year, 1977 was. And this one's got Placido Domingo, Leona Mitchell, Placido Domingo Jr., and the London Symphony Orchestra and London Voices. It's the Joy to the World Hallmark. It's set from 1988. Another Joy to the World tape. This is featuring the Christmas story, 14 songs to make your heart rescue. No, make your heart rejoice, rather. This is on Silver Bells Music out of Nashville, and this is from 1985. Labels are about the same in both sides, including the Christmas story, from what I can read there. What else am I going to show here today? Oh. Sorry about that. Here's Tim Care Records. Merry Xmas from Tim Care Records. Poison Ida, Dave Ray, and Tony Glover. And it's got a thing there. A gift from Tim Care Records. Look for the full-length Xmas album from TKR in the fall of 1993. This one also comes on a red tape. So it's from a guy named Tim Care. I wonder if his records are any good. Are any of Tim Care's records any good? I'll find out. They're, I think, an indie label. I wonder if their records are any good. Or if I could just dispose of them once heard. Here's Ramblin' Rex all at once. This appears to be a self-release tape, or is it? Oh yeah, I have one of those two Carmen movies. In my RC Columbia library. Now this doesn't have a date on there, and I do not see a label, so despite the presence of a catalog number on the spine, which is WRR8701. So I think this may be a self-release sort of deal. Then I have the Magic Organ, the musical Magic of Christmas, on Radwood Records from 1982. And it's a whole... I don't think I have any Bruin Music records at all. Anyway, this is from 1982. And there you go. In 1982 release, a wholly owned subsidiary of Teleclude Productions Incorporated. I believe this company was one of Lawrence Welk's labels. One of the labels Lawrence Welk owned, along with, and his family owned, along with Radwood Records and Sugar Hill Records, which were both eventually sold off. Yeah, I know who Bruin Music were. I just don't have any releases from that company. Oh yeah, I remember. But yeah, they did a lot of production music. They don't really specialize in collecting music in that particular field, because that's is basically readily free. And is mainly used in TV advertising, or other purposes, but some and for rather cheap shows that don't really have a lot of money for music licensing, so they just, or for a score, so they just go ahead and license some stuff from a library. What? What is it? Anyway, it's got a Pickwick. Next is a Pickwick tape. Original music box favorites. On the Pickwick from 1980. Ready for the Odyssey Productions. And if you don't know who Pickwick were, I suggest you turn on the archive Record Offs episode where they touched upon the subject of Pickwick specifically. One of the albums he covered in that one was their album 50 Ways to Believe in Your Lover. Pickwick's, that is. But, the Pickwick album of that title which I have the jacket of, but not the record. I've long since lost the record of that one. Then next I have some Inner Sanctum thing. Murder Comes at Midnight from some company called Radio Reruns, who are based out of Minneapolis. And the tape is from 1979. The air date of the episode is April 30th, 1948. So this must have been, Inner Sanctum must have been one of the last running radio shows before TV took over. Riot's TV was starting to grow in number of television stations. Television. Bringing up a number of things. That's what's bringing up too. This is Lost Wandering Blues and Jazz Band. Missing in the Lost Wandering Blues and Jazz Band. I don't know who they are. Or who really. This side recorded live for television February 1987. But I don't know if anyone ever has. I don't know if anyone has an off-air recording from February 1987 of that particular performance to have uploaded, or if they have uploaded it to YouTube. Next is a 1988 one, Carmen de Laval. 1988 tape on Sonotone Music Corporation. And this, I showed you this one already. Another copy of this one. So I don't need to show you the other one. It's pretty much identical. Here's another Radio Reruns tape, I think in conjunction with Mina Com, an episode of The Shadow called Temple Bells of Nabon, or Nabon. From 1978 or 1987, I can't decide, apparently. Then there's Bone Voyage, U.S. Air Force Airman of Note. A day in with, I think this may be from either 1979 or 1980, because it contains a cover of a song of, because there's a cover of Melissa Manchester said "Don't Cry Out Loud" on it. There's no copyright date on the tape, so I'm making guesses as to when it's from. And then a teledeck audio cassette, the only, I think, a classical item. Dvorak Symphony Number 2, Slavonic Dances, and New York Philharmonic Mazur. This is another, like, as with the CD counterpart I have of this, this was purchased from Columbia House, and this tape is from 1992. Hello, Savage Gamer 1998. He did. Yeah. Then they brought out Prairie Home Companion tapes. I'm rather surprised at that. Oh, and since you're here, Savage Gamer 1998, I would like to correct myself. I actually misread the warranty stamp on my King's Preservation Act 2 tape in the previous part, which was just titled Monday Stream. It's actually, that's all caps text at the bottom reads, "Do not return this cassette to your dealer." And now I'm going to show the tapes I have from this red thing here. I use an empty milk crate to store some of my tapes. Ah, alright. Kind of interesting that Disney. Kind of interesting that Disney released a Prairie Home Companion set, a tape, approximately 19 years before Robert Altman did his film version of the Prairie Home Companion, which I believe was his last film, and he died a few months after its release. Here's an EMI Records group tape I have from, well, this crate anyway. This is from Columbia House. It's, at worst, the best of Boy George and his Culture Club. From 1993 on SBK Records, which was around, I think, in the late 80s and the early 90s, and had ties to EMI, and was distributed by EMI. I believe one of their last albums was Barney tape. From back when he was reviled by most everyone who wasn't about its target audience. Full screen. Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna have to brighten the room proceedings a little bit because it's getting dark outside as I'm recording this. So let me make a little adjustment here and I'll get right back on recording. This stream for you. View. Full screen. There we go. Okay, I just put on some bright lights on there. So let's go on with the tapes in the crate. First of them is the only Beatles related tape that I have, I think. But I should probably have invested in more of them. It's John Lennon's Walls and Bridges. From 1974. I think this is a later printing from from the early 80s, from I think after John Lennon's assassination. The original printing would have had an Apple logo right there, Apple Corps, as opposed to Apple Computers. Of course, Apple Corps was known for suing Apple Computers over the use of their name, and they just, anytime they had something that could be used for music, anytime Apple put out something that could be used for music, Apple Corps ended up suing Apple Computers over the name. Always wait until Apple released anything related to music to do that. Up until 2007, of course. And here's a little good news from Anne Murray. This is from 1983 on Capitol itself. And this is when they were beginning to use the XDR thing on their cassettes, and they tooted their own horn about it on some of their earlier XDR releases. Which, Heron, let's see. Expanded dynamic range. Improves the dynamic drive of pre-recorded tapes by 13 decibels and virtually eliminates all distortion and tape noise. All distortion and tape noise. A new wide drive for mastering system improves dynamic range. Capitol Cassette's plastics reflect significant technological advances. Someone was proud of this thing that they used to make the tape. And I'll see if this particular blurb, which I'll show once in this video, is, yeah, it is on the next tape I'll be showing, which is David Bowie's Let's Dance. Another one where he's a very well-known artist, but I only have one of his records. And should have invested in more of them. And this tape is from, I believe it's from 1983. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's on EMI America. Of a couple of Capital EMI Capital Special Products tapes. This is Tennessee Ernie Ford's My Christmas Favorites. This was compiled in 1984, I believe. Both compiled in 84. Both of the EMI Capital Special Products tapes. That is Capital Special Markets. Let's take a note then. This one is yellowed a little bit there. Yeah, that was. Yeah, Donnie Marie clearly we're not going to make it in any field other than television. By the way, I have uploaded an episode of their 90s show, which my mom recorded because Meatloaf was a guest on that particular episode, and it was, I think, yeah, they had a talk show in the 90s. And it's also on my channel. Here's the Kingston Trio We Came to Sing from 1984 again, with the great song Wall of Flowers gone on it. That is great. You know? Here's a Canadian Capitol tape I have. It's Bobby Darin's Collector Series. Capitol Collector Series tape. From 1990. Hold on, let's see if I can project some more. Yeah, I'm trying to adjust the brightness every time because I do not have good lighting around here. That bulb burned out a long time ago and I haven't replaced it. So I have to resort to other measures to get good lighting every time it gets dark outside. Here is the cassette itself. If it's actually going to focus, that'd be wonderful. Hold on. Let's open it up to the light so you can see it. There you go. That's the first side. And that's the other side of that tape. This one does not have his Atlantic releases. It just has his Capitol stuff on it. Which is a shame, too, because it's, this Capitol stuff is the one everyone remembers from him. And they couldn't put it on this tape. Most people. Anyway. Pacific High. I'll have to get that soon. Anyway, here's EMI Legends 24 Greatest Hits of All Time. From 1991. And it's a sampling, I think, of broader collections from all the artists who are represented on the tape. Lots of great all-time hits on that one. From various artists. Well, a lot of different artists and styles of that time frame. Recordings that were owned by EMI at the time. And I think all of them are owned by Universal now, come to think of it. Music. Alright, here's the next one. La Fiebre 911. What's that? Nueve Uno Uno. I'm not sure. Here is. I hope I can get it focused right. Tape itself from 1993. And I have an Argentinian EMI tape. Look at that. It's Argentinian. It's Paloma San Basilio Grande. And the tape is from 1987. And yeah, I'm trying to get. There you go. The camera's right way around now. I think. Industria Argentina. It's an Argentinian tape. Argentinian. That's, again, Argentinian tape. On EMI. I'm going to be tweeting out the video link to today's stream. I just remembered to do that now, so let me go ahead and try to do that. It's, oh my god, been on the shelf for 3 years. Well, I got out of it, and I haven't seen it, but I'm told it was a good thing it got out of the shelf. There you go. I have the link tweeted out now. If you want to, on Twitter, that is. Here's the next one. It's the soundtrack of In the Heat of the Night. Well, this one opened to critical acclaim too. In the Heat of the Night, and this is the soundtrack of it. A reissue of a soundtrack of it because that originally came out in 1967 alongside the movie, but this one is a printing from uh, sometime in the 1980s, I would presume. It's from after AMI's bought out the United Artists Record Library and folded it and used the name Liberty to reissue stuff on anything on it. Do I have a focus? No, it's trying. Yeah, no, I can't get it to focus. Yeah, it's from 19. It's a 1982 reissue of the soundtrack for In the Heat of the Night. So it's from reissue from 15 years after it came out. And this is an import from Spain. Believe it or not. Okay. What do I have next? A lot of things I have next. There'll be a lot of things I have next in this part. Like Glenn Campbell's all-time greatest hits, it's all-time favorite hits, rather, from Summer Special Markets. Let's do. We'll see if it turns. We'll see if the Sun Times archives turn up on newspapers.com, and we'll find out if Roger is correct. And once they do, we'll find out if Roger is correct on his observation that he gave the fellow 4 stars in the paper. This is 1991. Summer Special Markets tape, anyway, of Glenn Campbell's all-time favorite hits. I think this was done in mail order. I think this was a tape line of order for the mail. I have David Rose with Little Drummer Boy on Capital Special Markets. When's this from? 1987. The label's pretty much faded out on that side. David Rose is, of course, a guy you know for writing a song called The Stripper. Well, some of you already know him for that anyway. I have some British tapes on United Artists Records. This is Don McLean's American Pie from 1971. Don't have any American United Artists tapes, but I do have American United Artists LPs. I haven't been able to find a good price for United Artists audio tapes from this continent, but I should try again. Well, I found some at good prices, but I haven't bought any U.S. American United Artists tapes. And this is a 1971 release originally, of course. I think this is a reprint from sometime in 1974, as it's got catalogs for later albums. Catalog advertising later albums on there. Either its best sellers. Well, that should be an interesting read if it resurfaces. Here's the other one, Kenny Rogers Kenny, which is from 1979 originally, but I researched this and it came out, and found out from my research that it came out in late January 1980 in the UK. Both of my United Artists tapes are from the UK. So this was after EMI bought out United Artists, and then they had a very limited amount of time to use the UA name before it phased it out in favor of Liberty. Liberty United Records Incorporated. Unfortunately, this tape snapped at the after I got done playing the first side. I was about to play the second side of that one when it snapped. I don't know why. Particularly since they saved the hit off this album for last, which is Coward the County. Oh, but I have another Kenny Rogers tape, and this one actually does work. Still works. Which is Kenny Rogers Christmas on Liberty from 1981. This is actually Columbia House tape. It's got a cover design that was indicative of Columbia House tapes on other labels from the time period. Some of these are sunk. We'll really collect record code tapes though. his passing probably is what convinced Disney to try out the Touchstone label and release many of his Cassavetes' most well-known films on it, or make deals with his estate, specialized ones, to release stuff from his estate. Uh, that his estate owns the rights to. Like stuff that his estate owns the rights to. Films he made. He was a revolutionary filmmaker, I believe. And here's a tape I have on the Chrysalis label. This is Best Shots. It's a Columbia House copy, but it doesn't really look like one. It looks more like a regular release. This is on Chrysalis and was released in 1989. I have one vinyl, one cassette, and one CD on Chrysalis, and all by Pat Benatar. All by different record she released. Oh, different record she released. I'll get to maybe one day I'll do a vinyl one. Want to be culture? Yeah, apparently it's decided to take advantage of their newly gained major label status by being cultural. By putting some culture in the Mouse House. That's kind of interesting. Some culture for the adults who recognize Disney's status as a major studio, which it became in the late 80s and early 90s. Anyway, this is a Rhino cassette of Billboard's top movie hits. From 1996, this was compiled in. It's a really beat up case, and this tape's had it rough. But it still plays. The tape's intact and everything. Hasn't snapped. This next cassette is, I believe, the earliest audio cassette that I am known to have in my house. That shouldn't be too difficult. They've released almost they've released films that just about everyone saw in the late 80s. Well, most everyone saw. Well, most everyone anyway. And anyway, the next tape is, I believe, one of the oldest cassette, possibly the oldest cassette from that I own. It's Ray Charles' Greatest Hits, and I believe this is a release from the late 1960s on ABC via GRT. And it says compatible stereo cassette there. A unique tracking arrangement allows this stereo cassette to be played on manual players. No, unique it is. No, what's unique about that tracking arrangement, though? And it's got red rails on there. And interesting design for the windows of the tape progress I've not seen on any other tape. And I'm not likely to see on any other tape in my lifetime because, well, these early audio cassettes are pretty hard to come by. late 60s and early 70s ones. Audio cassettes from the late 60s and early 70s are definitely difficult to find. Not usually easily found tapes that you almost always find some. When they mostly are encountered, the late 80s reprints are usually later pressings thereof. Much later ones. Prints. Next I have a Motown cassette. Lionel Richie's self-titled debut. This one's got a bit of a dingy spine right there. Sorry about that. This is from 1982 anyway, the Lionel Richie tape. And this spawned the hit Shirley. Richie's first solo album after leaving the Commodores. Here's Pointer Sisters' Right Rhythm. I think they're either their last or their penultimate album. I'll look at their discography soon. I think this was their only album for Motown, if I'm not mistaken. It's from... What year is it from? 1990. Here's the other side of that one. We're bound to run into some in time to time. Anyone else? Some critically, films that are critically acclaimed, but are not well liked by you. Of course, then most of us are Target White, who just likes to destroy anything that has that seems like it has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. He likes to destroy perfect scores for movies on Rotten Tomatoes for whatever reason. And had a particularly nasty scuffle with Steve McQueen, the director, not the dead movie icon, over the movie 12 Years a Slave. Yeah, that's good. Good on you for stating an honest opinion. Anyway, I remember the Norm play was nice. Adam, and I think he's still active, and he writes for the National Review. Yes, that National Review. Yes, that one. He, where he, among other things, defended Sam Elliott, who had a very homophobic rant on the film The Power of the Dog last year, and also had a very, very horrible title for his review of No Time to Die. It was titled, James Bond Gets COVID in No Time to Die. And I actually saw that one in the theater, by the way. It was pretty good. But I haven't. That's the only James Bond film I've seen in full. Oh yeah, the National Review, a very well-known conservative publication. Um, Although it was opposed to Trump. Although, albeit one that's opposed to Trump. So his base doesn't really like it that much. But yeah, a legendary conservative publication, and it still is a conservative publication. Here's Bachman Turner Overdrive 2. Yes, conservatives are weird. You got that right, Mr. Shields. Here's the next one. Audio cassette I have. It's a complete album. I'd be a bit worried if it wasn't. Called Bachman Overdrive, Turner Overdrive 2. Featuring the hit Taking Care of Business. Released in 1973 on Mercury. It's got an interesting looking label, if I can. Yeah, got that focused. It has listings of more pop heaps, which are The Love We Had, The Love We Had, Jerry Butler and Brenda Lee Eager. The Session from Jerry Lee Lewis, who I believe had become a country artist by that time. Here's Uriah Heep Live, Bob and Turner Overdrive, his first album. Seeing Again, Rod Stewart. Every Picture Tells a Story, Rod Stewart. Never a Dull Moment, Rod Stewart. Demons and Wizards, Uriah Heep. Magician's Birthday, Uriah Heep. Them Changes, Buddy Miles. The Spice of Life from Jerry Butler. And, whoa, this one is got a little thing. It's got a little bit of a warranty there. Warrants this cassette is free from defective material and workmanship. If any manufacturing defect becomes apparent within 30 days of purchase, defective cassette will be replaced free of charge with a new copy of the same recording, subject to its return by the consumer by prepaid mail with the original sales receipt and a letter specifying the defect direct to Phonogram Warranty Department, 35 East Wacker Drive, Chicago. Dealers and distributors are not authorized to accept returns of defective cassettes for any reason whatsoever. Good to know. It says replacements will not be made if the tape has been altered, repaired, or misused through negligence, shows signs of excessive wear, or is damaged by playback equipment. Warranty is made in lieu of all other warranties expressed or implied and shall be inapplicable if the plastic cassette has been opened. The manufacturer and distributor of Mercury Films Vertigo. And it's also got Let It Ride. Anyway, same tape, Bachman Turner Overdrive 2 has Let It Ride for him on it as well. Here's the next one I have on hologram. Another Mercury tape. Dexy's Midnight Runners to Rye A. Or the album with Come On Eileen on it. the first cut on there. Or, no, it's the first cut on side 2, actually. And the only hit they scored in America. One of the most enduring hits of the early 80s. Comes in a gold case and has the same notice I wrote earlier with another with a change, this time to polygram of address, this time to polygram. Well, I'll show you this thing. It's got the similar sort of thing to the Bachman Turner Overdrive thing, but without the all caps text regarding distributors and dealers not being authorized to return cassettes, and the copyright warning there. Samphir is the next one. I believe he's a pan flutist. It's on Mercury again, and it's made in Canada. I believe this is a Canadian copy, I'm not sure. Side 1 and side 2. Oh, it's actually a whole thing in there. He did the song from Once Upon a Time in America on it. Apparently. The thing from the movie Misunderstood, which I never heard of. I'll have to look that up. Here's 2LP Double Lange from Germany. It's Solvar Alexandra. I believe Alexandra was a German singer who had quite a few hits between well, the date range there is from 1967 to 1970, and then she died suddenly. And there better not be anti-vaxxers who will take that particular line of dialogue, where I think they'll take that line of dialogue. Gene Hackman and Henry Thomas were on that one. That should be interesting. Yep, Maine, Germany. These are all German recordings. German language ones, anyway. It's on Phillips. Tape is on Phillips. Here's Jeremy Torres and Isuka 2LP tape. What's the title of it? El Charon Guercho. Here's the that should yeah, misunderstood. Reviewed on the same episode as Romancing the Stone. I should look at that one again. Anyway, this is an Argentinian tape, and another one that doesn't work. There's no tape threaded through it. So that's how I know it doesn't work. Here's Christmas Tide, Jesse Norman. Assuming, I hope you can read that. Because you can't read it from this angle, but you can read it through this angle. I hope you got good enough. If you're gonna read that, you better have good enough lighting. Anyway, this is another Phillips tape. This time in the Netherlands, where Phillips is from. Its release is from 1987. Here's Leo Gandelman, Occidente. This is a Brazilian Phillips tape. It's Brazilian. From 1988. Yeah, I would think so. It was either released in August or sometime later in the year. VHS splash was. It's a Brazilian tape. Oh, anyway, it's a Brazilian Phillips tape. Oh, we'll spend it going down on. It's Brazilian. Here's an album I always joke is one you want to buy if you want to marry people again and again and again and again. It's as far as the replay value is concerned. Here's Here Comes the Bride. A musical wedding party. Wagner, Mendelssohn, Grieg, Bach, and others on Deutsche Grammophon. Released in 1990, I think. Dude, I think it's from 19... No, I'll have to look it up. Yeah. They wanted to give Touchdown some sort of unique identity at first. They rarely established a Touchdown with some sort of unique label. It held itself along with Disney. Oh, sorry, Disney did. Zero. I'm actually gonna look up when this particular tape was released of Here Comes the Bride musical wedding party. It was originally from 1970, and I think it got reissued sometime in the 90s. Is in 1990 or something. This was a very weird compilation. I'd have to say it's a pretty weird compilation. It's certainly nothing I've seen anything like since or even before. I haven't played anything from it because I haven't married anyway. But yeah, that could change at some point. And it says PD up there. RC video disc. Not long for the world, and when you got one that's scratched up, it can be kind of amusing at times. But if you get one at all and it's scratched up, it can somehow amuse you. By the way, skips and does all sorts of other things that you don't really want a video disc to do. Well, I scrolled up a little further, and I believe this may have been released in '84, closer to 1984, because it's having that for a catalog number, and it's seeming to fall around the time as these other classical entries. In the numbering sequence, but this guy's listed with a release date of 1970, which is impossible because the barcode numbering system for Sport Polygram didn't begin until 1983. Which is when they launched the CD format. Actually, yeah. Yep, here's the next audio tape that I got. Vanessa Williams, The Right Stuff on Polydor. Focus. There you go. It's a Canadian copy from 1988. Released in conjunction with Wing. Yeah, they were basically like phonographic records can play movies. Although, and they rely on the technology that was practically outmoded by the time Laserdisc came around. CDs, that is. Here's Sheryl Crow's Tuesday Night Music Club. This is the regular store release version from 1993. I think I also have this on, or maybe mistaken for another tape. I think I also have this on the Columbia Record Club thing then. And I believe the RD Archive has an episode done on CDs. If you want to go check that out. And Tecmo's done a video on CDs as well in the UK. Where it had a considerably shorter life, and an even shorter life than in the US. Here's a BMG Direct tape that I have on 8M. Bryan Adams, 18 Till I Die, which I believe was his final album. Tape it off a little bit. He was a big artist in the 80s and started to taper off slightly in the 90s. "1996" this is from. And here's the other side. Then I come across to the UK tape I have on BBC cassettes. Hancock's Half Hour, which is a compilation of episodes of his radio show, I believe. The titular artist, that is. Which are the Poetry Society and Sid's Mystery Tours. Side one of this tape was first broadcast December 8th, 1959. The other side was first broadcast November 24th, 1959. And this tape is from 1980. Here it is. BBC Cassettes is a division of BBC Enterprises. Distributed by Pi. One of the last releases distributed by Pi before it became PRT. And indeed it says manufactured and distributed by, if I can get to it, manufactured and distributed by Pi Limited. It's a UK release. And it's got some liner notes in there. And both of these sides are in mono. have the Hallmark Channel tape. No, just a regular Hallmark tape there. This is. I'm gonna check to see. No, it is. It's a different one. Songs for the Holidays. Featuring Peter Hoffman, Deborah Sasson, or Sasson, and the London Symphony Orchestra and Chorus. From 1987. Blue Collar. This is a movie you guys will check out. Maybe you've seen these in Hammond at some point. I've never been around to it, but yeah. And Blue Collar has definitely been on my must-see, want-to-see list for quite some time. I had plans to buy the MCA Video Cassette tape of that one, but it went to someone else. Here's Round the Christmas Trees with Tony Bennett, Bing Crosby, Johnny Mathis, Doris Day, Jim Neighbors, Patty Page. And let's look at the track list. And Julie Andrews is on that one too. But that's it. And I read that I'm looking at the video footage from my laptop, which because I thought that was Phyllis Diller. And I didn't even know she did Christmas songs. Though hers would be pretty weird. Anyway. But it's actually Phyllis Curtin. And this is a Columbia Special Products tape from 1979. A third copy of that Samba tape that I showed earlier, and I'm not going to show again. Because I told you everything I need here's the Harry Simeon Chorale with the Little Drummer Boy. From I think that was 1987. Oh, well, sometime in the 80s. Well, it's supposed to have a Little Drummer Boy, a compilation of from Harry Simeon Chorale in it, but it's actually a Noel Records tape of Christmas with Bing Crosby, done in 1987. What a surprise. Yeah, I actually have Gene's top 10 lists for all his years as of his life and the Tribune. He did separate worst of lists until 1973, I think, for the first few years of his job, and then he just shifted into just chucking them to earlier to the lead up to the top 10 in his articles. So I have his article on his top 10 from 1979, January 7th, 1979 to be exact. Let me go ahead and see here. So here's the line of text here. It's in 1978, moviegoers sent a loud and clear message to the movie makers: make it simple, make it fun. Escapist films were king. And yeah, it says there the year wasn't totally nonsensical though, as Hollywood for the first time created big budget films about the Vietnam War. Hold on. And he also planned. He also was talking about Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now, which he had a big feud over. One of the earliest films in which he had a big feud with Roger. Or at least it ended up being that way. Rejuvenation of the Women's Film, which began there in 1977, continued in 1978. And it says, artistically, it was a very bad year, as a number of major filmmakers created dismal failures. Movie impresario Robert. And there were 3 important anniversaries during the year: 75 years of American movie making, 50 years of Mickey Mouse, and 10 years of the GPRX rating system. Hollywood's ability to hype a film with advertising, and it says here, oh yeah, Hollywood's ability to hype up a film with advertising, gossip, toys, and books went unchecked as the media swallowed movie-oriented stories in record numbers. Many major newspapers, including the Chicago Tribune, paid money to print the first chapter of Jaws 2 before the movie opened. And Chicago Film Festivals. The longest running end of the year, of course, Ronnie Martin Picture Show, the Biograph. Done, I presume, in the usual fashion. Of course, with the thing being interactive. And there are... Yeah, he had 25 films on his worst of list that year. Wild Geese came out on top, and Gene's review was kind of, I would say, sympathetic to anti-apartheid protesters at that time, because Wild Geese was filmed, after all, in South Africa when apartheid was going on over there. And because of that, many people, particularly in the UK and Ireland, picketed the movie. So he kind of sympathized with them, as this paragraph indicates. So Gene kind of had a way of sympathizing with the anti-apartheid people, as that paragraph kind of indicates. And then the top, it seems to be. Well, yeah, rather mixed opinion of that here. Well, yeah, rather mixed opinion of that here. He picked some male. So here are his picks for the best male performances of '78, best female performances of '78, and he had. Let me see if I can count them. 11 top 10 runner-ups. So he had 21 films to name among his best of the year during 1978. So it was fairly good, as far as Gene was concerned. His opinion of 1978 could best be described as mixed. It was mixed. A mixed opinion of '78. Mixed opinion. Gene had a mixed opinion of '78. 1978. Anyway. Get out the thermal tapes out of this milk crate. Alright. Alrighty then. Row number 3. Put the tape side in this up there in this crate. Beginning with Alejandro Kamala y el Grupo Semilla. When's this from? It must be a pretty early one. It's a Brazilian tape on some label called Laro. It's a Bolivian tape. It's a Bolivian tape. From 1994. There you go. From 1994. Okay. It's a Bolivian tape. Alright, so this should be a familiar album. And this is a repackaging of one under courtesy of United Artists on Mistletoe Records. It's Christmas with the Chipmunks, the album debut of Alvin, Simon, and Theodore, and David. Who have had a very long life as cartoon characters. And they were a product of Springboard International, which I believe acquired the tapes of master tapes of Scepter Records back in 1976 when that label went out of business. I believe those tapes were owned by what was the label? Gusto now, which can put out alternatively original recordings and knockoffs. Well, it rarely can do both. Ooh, that's interesting. Roger was a fan of Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Ladies and gentlemen, Roger Ebert. We'll see if that review ever surfaces. That's another review I'm going to have to wait and see if the resurfacing of. Here's Jingle Bells from the Children's Christmas Chorus. And it's another Massey tape. So again, it's gonna probably be filled with manufacturing fuck-ups galore, I reckon. Stereo. Next tape is Wonderful World of Children's Christmas. He might also have this. I don't know what Roger's opinion of it is either. He may have liked it, he may have not. I don't know. We'll wait until his review surfaces. Anyway, the spine of this one's delved through some fog too. Except it's all around the case. This time it's all around the case. And this made in Holland. The tape. And that was an interesting way the titles are written on the label, or at least marked. Marked in the manner suggesting an incomplete sentence. Here's the play of Saint Nicholas, a 12th century liturgical drama on whatever that label is. It's from the Musical Heritage Society. Okay, and that's from Tinton Falls, New Jersey. So I'm going to show you the tape itself. Yeah, I actually marked the amount of time this runs for on there. Impressive. This one's for 30 minutes and 55 seconds. This other side one's for 25 minutes and 3 seconds. And it's from 1981. But the inlay looks older than that. A lot older. Here's a surprising find. Yeah. No evidence of Roger ever having a low opinion of Star Wars ever existed. Whoever came up with that rumor, us. Who the hell came up with that rumor? Some guy in the Phantom Menace? Oh my god, this is ridiculous. This is very ridiculous. Anyway. Oh boy. This is an interesting find. I don't know where or how I got this. This is Jeff Combo's Musical Adventures. From the National Dairy Council, and this was released in 1990. This was released in 1996. Oh my god. Yeah, that was. Oh my god. I'll read that a little later, but. I'll read that particular comment a little later, but. Oh my god. It's got some interest. Yeah, why don't we go ahead and hear a little bit of that one real quick. Let's see what this... Well, he looks like a rock star. They made the Chef Combo out to be this big, huge rock star on it. And I have this rewound at the beginning, so let's see if he's really got something rocking on the audio front. We're going to give it a little minute for the tape to roll through. Let's see. Oh. a few minutes. Let's see what we got here. If he's really as rocking as this.
Oh, my name is Chef Combo, man of great taste. Join my adventures, not a moment to waste. We'll eat yummy food to grow healthy and strong. So pack up your taste buds and come on along. Oh, my name is Chef Combo, I'm the world's greatest cook. Come join my adventures, we'll all take a look at the thrilling, fantastical, fantabulastical world of food. Oh, my name is Chef Combo, I'm the world's greatest cook. Come join my adventures, we'll all take a look at the thrilling, fantastical, fantabulastical world of food. Chef Combo's world of food.
So this song appears to be aimed at very little kids, and yeah, doesn't have that much rock on it. That cover, when juxtaposed with that, the cover gets a little bit weirder than it looks. It gets a little weirder than it looks. Because that's more suggestive of a preschool show intro than, a rock album. And I'm going to... the player again. Here we go, I got it unjammed. Had to do a little... Had to pry the thing. Sometimes I have to pry the door open. I'm getting tapes in and out of the thing. Yeah, that sounds a little bit more like a preschool show intro than it does a rock album. Anyway, but I think this was aimed at the littler ones, so. But I think that one was aimed at the littler ones, so it's probably understandable. Oh, here's the next tape, Simplemente Amor, from Industria del Amor. This is another Fonovisa tape from 1998, so one of the very latest cassettes that I own. It's another one from the year I was born in. One of the very last audio... Yeah, it did sound Barney-ish. Sounded very suspiciously Barney-ish. Here's another Spanish tape. Oh, tell me about it. Here's another Spanish tape. This is Campeche Show from 1991. And tape's yellowed a bit. And another one that's been yellowed a little bit. And yeah, Barney definitely was a saccharine show. What if that was the point? But it seemed to be kind of the point. But that seemed to be kind of the point.
or was it? I I actually saw a promo on Peacock last year where Peacock had a true crime show about um, a true crime miniseries about the events that surrounded the backlash against Barney among adults during uh, during the 90s and early 2000s, which not going to be an easy watch. I also have got to read Jeanette McCurney's won't be easy thing for me to get through. And neither will Jeanette McCurney's book, I'm Glad My Mom Died, which I have a copy of. Ah. Oh, you've seen the documentary already. What was it like? Anyway, here's the next tape, which is Julie Andrews, The Sounds of Christmas. From 1990. On Hallmark Cards. This one's got Julie. The Sounds of Christmas from Around the World. A bundle with Hallmark featuring Julie tape from Hallmark. Another tape from Hallmark featuring Julie Andrews, Christopher Parkening, the Ambrosian Boys Choir, and the London Symphony Orchestra. I have no idea if Hallmark arranged to record these themselves or if they just licensed them and didn't credit whoever it was. The recordings that they licensed. Here's Industria dell'Amore. Para ti. I haven't listened to these Spanish. I could listen to some of these Spanish language things for Santa Mayo and see which genres some of these fall into. Because some of them fall into mariachi, some of them don't. Yeah. Oh, it certainly was. And it had to have been. Certain other preschool shows may have been too. But you know, there's definitely been a change recently, though, because on the preschool front, you have Bluey now. It's on the Disney Plus. We have something called Bluey nowadays. Bluey is a show on Disney Plus, Disney Junior, Disney Channel, and loved by just about everyone, really, even among those who don't normally watch cartoons. It's an Australian import. For those not in the know about it, it's a cartoon about a world of dogs. Specifically a very realistically drawn and written family of and presented family of blue and red healers who ain't like every other family in the world. They like a real family, and everyone behaves in a manner that is authentic as far as reality is concerned. Everyone behaves in a manner that reflects the reality of the world in which we live in, which is highly unusual for a preschool show. There are currently the third block of season 3 episodes of Bluey is scheduled for April 9th in Australia. I have no idea when that block of episodes will be seen in the States. And it's an Australian show. The next one is not an Australian thing, but a cassette from Mexico made by a... yeah. Oh, definitely. Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers did not present a black and white view of the world. They presented the world as it really was in the world. And as it really was. The world as it really was. And is. And so does Bluey, oddly. And so does Bluey, the show I just brought up. Uh, that's another show that doesn't present a black and white view of the world. Anyway, getting back on topic with Santa Lucia by an artist called Gualberto, made by some company called Goth. And, or Doff, or whatever that is, and distributed through some company called Disco Sesame. Here's Gualberto. Here's side one, and that's side two. Oh, did you see A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, which had Tom Hanks in it? That was a great one. It was one where Mr. Rogers is played by Tom Hanks. And it's a biopic of an encounter he had in real life with an Esquire magazine writer who had his name changed in the movie, I think. Now I'm trying to read the year for this. I think it's from 1983, but I can't really read it all that well. I think that says 83, so. Here's oh yeah, I gotta check Won't You Be My Neighbor at some point. That sounds interesting. Anyway, the next audio cassette I have is El Camarón y sus Hidalguenses. I think that's how you read it. This is a cassette from Colidri. I've never heard of. Oh, Colibri. There you go. Or Colibri, rather. They were based out of Texas. How about that? How about that? Okay, when was this released? It doesn't say. It doesn't say when this was released in. What cheat? I open up the card and it did give me a release date for this record. But I think it came out in the 90s. Okay, what's next? Disco's Connell tape. And good night to you, Patrick Shields. Here's the next audio cassette in the video. Continuing on with Ada Cuervos on Ivory, which is distributed through a company called Discos Connell. And the album was titled Decision. And this tape is from. Let me read it. Another one I don't see the release date of on the packaging. for some reason. Or a copyright warning on the inside, which Mexican tapes usually do. Usually have. Here's a tape I have on Everest. It's Pete found in his New Orleans All-Stars, an archive of folk and jazz. Though it originally started out as a big it was originally a very big label under the direction of a guy whose surname is Block, and I can't really remember what his first name was, but I'll have to look it up again. And it was that way when it was founded in 1958. But then in 1960, Mr. Block died and the label declined in sales. Well, then went through a decline in sales. And I think it became a budget label. Let me see. I think BSN Pubs, Websites Now Publications, has done an article on Everest. We'll see what they were. So it was started in 1958 by Harry Belloc. From 1958 to 1960, it operated as a division of Belloc Instrument Corporation, which manufactured precision equipment for missiles. And he decided to produce records because he felt that no one was recording stereo properly, so he started doing it himself along with engineer-producer Burt White. Belloc had custom recording equipment made to record on 35mm magnetic film, which he believed was an improvement over half-inch magnetic tape. Everest was only prosperous for a few years, and since Belloc only controlled 22% of the company, as his fortunes declined, the company board removed him from control. He left the record business and sold it to his accountant, Bernard Solomon, in 1960. Everest Records declined in quality and eventually became a reissue label that lasted into the 80s. It was purchased by the Tradition label in 1966. And it was a reissue label when this tape was put out, too. And I do not know what year this tape was put out in. I'm going to guess since it was put out sometime in the 80s because of the fonts. Fonts sound like they could conceivably be on an 80s tape. Then I showed that one already. I showed that one already too. A couple of Walmart tapes there that I already showed. That you already saw on this stream. Which I'm not inclined to show again in the stream. Here is Handel's Messiah, Volumes 1 and 2. From the London Symphony Orchestra and Chorus conducted by John Allardyce. This is on Sparrow Records, and it was released in 1979. Yep, that's right. It's a bit of a chip in the door there. And the second tape comes in blue case and actually has blue tape. That's volume 1. And here comes volume 2. And now on to the very last row of tapes I have in this company. Oh. Ah. Here's I'm going to begin here with Old Fashioned Christmas Songs. Another album, yet another album on Snowflake. And does the tape match the case? It does. It's actually got pink labels, pink paper labels on both sides. This is from 1985. Pink labels. That's something. Pink paper. I have now a Virgil Fox Christmas. Don't know who he is. Festive carols for organ and chorus. Virgil Fox. And the organ of the Royal Festival Hall in London. Recorded in England. This is on Quintessence Records. And it comes with a white door. And here's the cassette itself. And the next one I have here is the Christmas album from Jimmy Rosselli. This is on M&R Records, although I think it was originally released on United Artists. And I think this was originally released in the late 60s. But this is a release from 1975. And M&R, I believe, was, I think, Jimmy Rosselli's own label. It may have been unrelated to Rosselli's, but I think I read one time that it was his. Unless I misread it. Okay, and what do I have next? What do I have next? Oh, here's the other half. I think these were together at some point, but there's the other half of the Play of St. Nicholas thing, which you may think from the case is from the late 60s, but it's actually from 1981. It's 1981 tape. '81 release. But the cover looks much older. Much, much older. The inlay card looks a lot older than that, I can tell you. Here's Soundings of the Planet, Joy to the World. From Everton to Rachel. Complete with homemade labels. And this is a local recording, from what I can gather. I'm gonna have to plug in my phone soon. That started ringing out just in battery low message just in time. Because last part, I'm about in the end of the music collection now. Audio cassette collection now. Or am I? I still have some things to get to. Stray cassettes to get to. But this is Los Caminantes Gracias Martin. On Luna from 1987. And I have the camera the wrong way around. There we go. I had the camera the wrong way around for a minute. I wonder how many clippings this will take. Because I last streamed on quite a bit of clippings. Good. Yeah, because my battery drained out. Yeah. Move my laptop out of the way. I think I'll plug my phone in for the last few minutes of the stream because of the battery low message. There we go. It's plugged in now. Next tape is Christmas Cheer. From some uncredited artists. There you go. It's Right Side Up. And upside down a little bit earlier. It's being hauled again. It's up on a house, not the house. That title is up on the housetop, not up on a housetop. Get it right. Get it right, people who label these things. Here's Johnny Kennan. I'm assuming not related to Stan Kennan. El Hijo del Rose. And this is on Sony in conjunction with some company called... What's it called? Wet Tire Productions, I think. Assuming I can read that. West Side Productions. Or something. Which comes on a purple tape. Or comes on, I think, a lavender tape. I think it's a purple tape. Let me look at that. And it's from 1994, I believe. Here's the other side. And it's made in the USA. Yeah, West Side Productions. I got the guess right. One of my guesses right. 1995. Okay. Ah, we're in the fog line. Sort of music. It's gypsy music from Hungary and Romania. From Sultan and his Gypsy Ensemble. And I'm part Hungarian and Romanian myself. So this should be a good listen. I got a couple of copies here of on this time in a accurate case. Oh, that's where the other copy of oh, that's where the tape of the little drummer boy thing went. Anyway, Christmas with Bing Crosby. This is on I should say this is on another one on Noel Records. Noel Records released from 1987. And this other would-be copy of this where my copy of the Little Drummer Boys compilation went. I think I'm going to swap them around once I'm done with this video. I think I'm going to swap those two around at the end of when I'm done recording. Here's the next tape. Another one of those radio reruns tapes from 1978 this time. And this one is an episode of Sherlock Holmes. Holmes at his best from August 14th, 1943. And this one episode apparently is called A Scandal in Bohemia. And there's that radio reruns label there. And now I have A Christmas Party from the Jack Dorsey Big Band. Again, probably not related to the Twitter CEO. Probably not the Twitter CEO. Or, well, the former one, anyway. I'm assuming that Jack Dorsey on the tapes I have with Jack Dorsey's name on it is not the former Twitter CEO / owner. Here's another one that I think I have. I don't know if I showed that or not, but just in case I haven't shown them in there, it's earlier in the stream. This one is called Christmases from Pamela Wilson's soprano with Symphony Royals of London Orchestra. Royals of London conducted by Jack Dorsey. Again, not the Twitter CEO of that former Twitter CEO of that name. And this one also has pink labels on it. Pink A side and a pink B side. Here's an early Hallmark tape of Christmas stuff from 1985. This is the best loved Christmas carols with original performances by the London Symphony Orchestra and Chorus. Oh, there we go. I'm struggling to get that open. It's got side 1 and side 2. Recorded in London and mixed in Nashville. Apparently. And prepared exclusively for Hallmark Christmas. For Hallmark customers. By Hallmark and your Hallmark dealer. I think my laptop came unplugged, the charger. Let me see if oh. Oh. Good. I heard a bit of a beep there. Here's the only audio tape I have from a company you probably didn't even know made audio tapes, or some of you anyway didn't know I made audio tapes. The National Geographic Society with An American Christmas. This tape is from 1977. And it comes on, I think it was red. I got it. Probably still is red. Yep. Still right on the camera, at least. Looks a little pink for there. And the final one I have on that crate is Cara de Mayor from Los Caminais. From Discos Rocio. I think that's supposed to be red. Released in 1985. Okay, now I'm going to put all the tapes I took out of the crate back, and after I do that, I will show you some stray little tapes I have, and then I'll end the stream. Okay, I told myself I would do that. So I'm going to get that one out, and where is Harris and Meal and Miss Claire? No, this Jack, but this stick. Yeah. Okay, and now for the stray little audio tapes. Not off-air ones. Here you go. And I'm talking real ones. Legitimate ones. Not the record ones. I think there's some mixture of those and other types of recordings. And that's it. Yeah, let's plow our way through these recordings. This dash. What do we have here? Of the Counting Crows, August and everything after, on a DGC from 1993. This is the regular customer version. They also have the BMG Direct CD pressing. Some stray recording there. Some stray audio cassette here. Somewhat rotting copy of Janice Ian's. Well. And I have one that's really starting to come apart in the oxide or something. Unfortunately, but I'll get to that eventually. This one is Janice Ian's Breaking Silence on Morgan Creek. Yep, Morgan Creek had a record division back in the 90s. It wasn't terribly successful. But then neither was their film division most of the time. Here's Live Throwing Copper. On a Radioactive from 1994. This was one of their big sellers. This was one of the biggest selling albums of the 90s in the alternative rock genre. Here's Cyndi Lauper's Half Full Stars from 1993 on Epic. This is the cassette counterpart. I have this on CD as well.
Bruce Springsteen's greatest hits with one side along to preserve continuity. This one's on Columbia. No Doubt Tragic Kingdom on Trauma Records. This is a BMG direct pressing. A tape that I think has Billy Joel's album Turnstiles on it. But the label has pretty much gone from it. Went away from it a long time ago. A couple more string audio tapes, one of which has a recording of a live performance of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon on it. Meatloaf's Dead Ringer. 1981 on Epic in conjunction with Cleveland International. Tom Waits' Bone Machine on Island from 1993. And the Yngwie Malmsteen collection, I think that is how you say her name, on Polydor. This one's really coming apart in the oxide. Came apart in the oxide when I was a kid, too. Yeah, it's had it. I may have to buy another copy of this one. I'm gonna have to buy another copy of this one at some point, because this one's had it. And that is it for my cassette collection video. I hope you enjoyed my look through of some of these tapes. And I will see you in the next video. Have a nice evening. Have a good evening. Good night.